Hello and welcome back to the Kid Ankh Fetvlogs. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit weird because the episode that I did this on, it's already done essentially, but I wanted to do a better explanation of this one question because, well, I felt like I rambled a little bit too much in the regular episode, so I'm going to cut out the part that was in the regular episode and put it in, and do this one. Okay, so what do we have here? All right, so we had a question by one of the viewers for us to go over today. So this is a multi question, uh, and it has to do with finding bigs in the community. Um, it says, "Do you have any?" It says, do you have any advice on finding a big? Any advice on vetting them?" Yes, there is. I have answers for all of this. So, so let's start off with finding a big. The first thing that you want to do when you're looking for a big is to try to figure out what it is that you're looking for specifically. Because in the idea of a big, there's multiple ways that it can go about it, and it depends on how your mindset of age play or of age play is. Is it non-sexual? Is it sexual? So, and then you really want the person that you are entrusting with your little space to be able to hit these certain types of goals for you. So, referring to, like, is it something sexual that you're looking for or non-sexual? If you want it to start off non-sexual and then progress later, you have to make sure that you communicate that with the person. When you're looking for when you negotiate, bring this up. See how it is that are they into age play? Are they new to age play? Do they have any experience? Ask them some questions. I always tell people to do a little bit of research on age play first, or like listen to a podcast or whatever, and then like use that excuse me, to gain some type of knowledge on what you're looking for as far as age play goes. So, for instance, in the non-sexual part, what are you looking for? Someone to be that caregiver, because there's the daddy dom, the mommy dom, and just the caregiver. Do you want the caregiver? That's the question. Caregivers are usually the ones that don't have the daddy or mommy term, or they could have the daddy or mommy term, but they act more as a nurturing figure for you. That's usually the caregiver. The mommy dom can also give the mommy or daddy dom usually can be either nurturing or strict. Strict is a little bit more BDSM-y, punishment-y type deal where you're given tasks and chores and stuff to do, and then you get punished if you don't do them correctly, or if you don't finish it in a certain length of time. There are different rules and different ways that can go about being done. Usually in that particular scenario, it can be both non-sexual or sexual. Usually it leans more on the sexual side than it does the non-sexual. But yeah, strict exists. Strict is also the one that you want for like disciplinarian, so that your little side is more disciplined, and yeah, some people are into that. Then you have the soft doms, who are kind, nurturing, always giving you the care and love that you always wanted. That's a soft dom. You're always going to get the cuddles. You're always going to be told that you are more than worth it, and that you are just the sweetest, best thing in the world. I fall more on the soft dom side whenever I do stuff. I do have a little, so he's very. I have two actually. They're both vastly different in how they like to be, in how they like to be topped. So that's the way it works for them. I'm very much the caregiver for both. I don't think I've reached a different level for that just yet. But that's just me. That's just an example of my particular taste. I actually also have three different mommy doms, so that tells you something. One is nurturing, one is my top, and the other one is both nurturing it is nurturing, and there is a lot more to the relationship than that. There's a lot more to it. That relationship I cherish more than anything in the world too. Like, I cherish all three. They're all really, really great. One of which I do not refer to as mommy as much as I refer to them as by their real name, by their kink name, I should say, and like them being a top. So I listen to them. The other two, on the other hand, is very much me calling them mommy and being loved and nurtured by them. They both have very distinct ways in how they go about it. Doc is very much the loving, like, sensual side, and she's, oh God, they are very hot, and I can just say that, like, I love them dearly, just as much as, like, Pacis is the other mommy dom that I have, and they are very, very sensual, but it's very less sexual with Patches. There is very less sexual. Yeah, so it's something. It depends on what you're looking for, really. For me, this is more of a lifestyle than it is just a kink or a person, and it's both a lifestyle and personality trait for me. So that's how I usually go about it. But like, you have to know what you're looking for is what I'm trying to say. You have to know what you're looking for. So are you looking for the sensual? Are you looking for the sexual? Which one is it? And then from there, after you've negotiated that, you move on to rules. Like, yes, no, what is your hard limits? What are both of you's hard limits? Let each other know. If there's something else that you want to touch upon in AgePlay, like ABDL or something else, if there is, and you think that there's a possibility, you should negotiate that too, and see, like, tell them, like, that you're exploring, you want to know more, and you're hoping that they would be interested in actually trying some of that at some point in time. Please be careful to watch out for those that are just in it for sex, because those people claim that they're into AgePlay and then they're really not, and the only thing that they're interested is getting in between your legs, and it's really annoying. I personally had someone who used me when I was young in this community, like I was 23, 24, and they used me in a way that I, to this day, am still not comfortable with. They were like, oh yeah, I'll be this loving person, it'll be great, I'll always be there for you, and then when the time came, they straight up just treated me like shit, and were like, no, this requires too much work, I'm not willing to put in the work for this, and then just tossed me to the side. And they were incredibly mentally abusive towards me. And when I was tossed to the side, I didn't have anyone, and I didn't know how to, like, cope. You, on the other hand, particularly the person asking this question, I know you. I know for a fact that if anything like that happened, like, you do have friends and people that would be there to support you. Earlier on in my days when I was in the community, I didn't have that. So I constantly tell people to try to be prepared, because not every relationship works. Not every relationship works, and there's always a coming down period with breakups and relationships in age play. Sometimes it becomes a lot more difficult and hard to really grasp on what's going on sometimes, because you are so emotionally invested with this person, and then they just up and treat you like shit and just disappear on you. Yeah, no, that's definitely an issue. And so I tell everybody, please, 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 just be prepared when things don't work. Like, it's not the end of the world. It'll never be the end of the world. There's always another time. Like, you will always meet someone else, and it will always get better after that. So, yeah, like I said, just don't worry about that. Just focus mainly on like feeling out each other and trying to understand each other and get to know each other. I hope that wasn't rambling. I'm trying to explain it as best as I can. I just want you to be prepared for whenever, like, you do ask the different questions and stuff. Negotiation is really important in age play. The vetting process that I do is I always look to see if this person is only there for the sex, because a lot of them, if they seem like they're really eager to be like, oh yeah, I like to do that, and they don't really know what the fuck they're talking about, you can tell that they're just there for the sex. It's one of those things that, like, you have to be careful, because a lot of those people, those people can end up damaging your little space, and you don't want that. That can cause, like, untold damage to your little space. And that's why I'm saying you have to be careful when you do the vetting and when you listen to these people. They have to know what's doing it, like what they're doing. Red flags and stuff like that, watch for them. Watch for them. If they seem like they're there for just the sex, that's a red flag. If they seemingly don't know what they are doing after they said that they do, that's a red flag. Don't be afraid to say red light and be like, yeah, we gotta stop, because you don't seem to know what you're doing exactly. Don't be afraid to say that. Yeah, so that's the vetting process I go. As for meeting bigs, I would say go to kink events. Go to kink parties and kink events. They're the best way to really, and munches and stuff like that. That's the best way to do it. If there's an age play event in your area, try that, because sometimes you do get a daddy dom that comes through, and it works out way better than you may think. So, yeah. All right. So I hope that answers your question. It wasn't going to be too long, but I wanted it to be long enough for me to be able to explain that. Like I said, just always listen to how it's done, and, like, just listen to what I'm saying on this, and, like, you'll get it. Like, the whole thing is that you just want to make sure that the person that you're entrusting with your little space knows what they're doing, and they are trustworthy with your little space, because once that trust is lost, it's real hard to get back. So, just saying. Yeah, so if you have any other questions, please let me know and I'll give you an answer.